ma'am. Please accept a warm welcome on behalf of the entire team of NSDL. Thank you so much. As we all know, we celebrate by taking the name of the Lord in, as our Indian tradition says. So we're going to begin this auspicious event as well with lighting the lamp. Light symbolizes auspiciousness, prosperity, and good health. Light dispels darkness and leads us to the path of knowledge and enlightenment. So I would like now to invite our chief guest, Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, guest of honor, Srimati Madhavi Puri Butch, and Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas, along with Chairman of NSDL, Shri B.A. Prabhakar, and our host, Srimati Padmaja Chunduru, to please join us to light the lamp. Thank you. Thank you so much. I request our dignitaries to kindly take their seats. Thank you so much. Well, it's been an auspicious beginning, so let's now get into the event where, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure all of you are aware that NSDL has been a technology enabler and a pillar to Indian securities market. On this historic occasion, we present an audiovisual to showcase NSDL's journey of the past 25 years. Let's take a look at the audiovisual.
The hallmark of a thriving economy is a vibrant securities market. While the securities market in India is more than 100 years old, it was plagued with fake and forged certificates, delayed settlements, unregistered transfers, bad deliveries, and so on. Then, in 1996, NSDL commenced the process of dematerialization. The word demat was coined by NSDL. Today, NSDL stands tall amongst the central securities depositories all over the world and is seen as a respected leader and a trendsetter. We have always believed in developing innovative solutions, thereby surpassing the expectations of our stakeholders. In the journey so far, NSDL has achieved several milestones. In our Silver Jubilee year, we achieved yet another historical milestone of crossing Rs 300 lakh crore in value of assets held in demat form. More than 99% of FPI's holdings are held in NSDL demat accounts maintained with custodian participants. This is a true reflection of the trust shown by more than 2.7 crore demat account holders from 167 countries across the world. NSDL DPs have established a wide network of 57,000 plus service centers spread across all states and union territories of India, as well as overseas, to serve investors. With a continuous focus on innovation and commitment, we have launched various path-breaking digital initiatives, which have truly transformed the Indian securities markets. Investing is now simpler, convenient, and secure for all investors. With online account opening facility, it just takes a few minutes to open a new NSDL demat account. With mobile accessibility reaching the masses, we launched the NSDL Speed E-app, which gives investors the power to monitor and manage their portfolio anytime, anywhere. The power of e-voting has enabled retail investors to participate in the corporate decision-making process. With NSDL's e-voting platform, the issuer companies, on the other hand, have benefited from a cost-effective, efficient alternative that also enhances the corporate governance standards. In 2015, under the guidance of SEBI and Government of India, NSDL started sending consolidated account statements to investors. This statement contains details of investments in different asset classes held in different demat accounts and mutual fund folios. NSDL is working closely with PFRDA to start showing the NPS account balance as a part of CAS. Till date, we have sent more than 35 crore statements, making investors look forward to their CAS regularly. The year 2020 threw an unprecedented challenge at all of us when the entire nation went into a lockdown. Even in these testing times, NSDL worked with speed and focus to support this order of growth and ensure that all services to the markets functioned without any disruption. It is also a demonstration of the resilience of NSDL infrastructure and the manner in which it supported continued economic activity. With the advent of the depository system, India transitioned from the account period settlement system to rolling settlement system. India rapidly moved from T+5 to T+3 and then quickly to T+2 rolling settlement system in the year 2003. At that time, advanced markets like US and Europe were still at T+3 settlement system. In February 2022, India became a leader by moving towards T+1 settlement cycle in a phased manner. NSDL pioneered the first of its kind application of blockchain technology for the Indian securities market. We share the government's vision to make India an international financial hub. We are proud to be associated with GIFT City project. NSDL has provided the required technical expertise and application software, which facilitates investment by Indian investors in US stocks through demat accounts. NSDL is also working towards enabling investment in gold through electronic receipts. Our subsidiary, NSDL Payments Bank, offers zero balance savings account facility. Mobile app NSDL Jiffy is the face of NSDL Payments Bank. It also contributes to the vital cause of financial inclusion by offering services to the unbanked and underbanked areas, helping the migrant laborers, low-income households and small entrepreneurs. NSDL Database Management Limited was set up in 2004 as a 100% subsidiary of NSDL. NDML operates in multiple businesses that span across governance, capital markets, and industry solutions. It offers various services. In order to empower investors, NSDL publishes a newsletter named The Financial Kaleidoscope in English and Hindi. This newsletter is widely read by investors across all age groups. NSDL also conducts investor awareness programs online and offline regularly in different languages. A unique initiative is being launched for students called Market Ka Eklavya to make them aware of the benefits of early investments. We at NSDL are cognizant of our social responsibilities. Each of our CSR intervention is undertaken to create a meaningful impact on society at large and make a visible difference. NSDL thanks its business partners and investors for their support throughout this beautiful journey. NSDL has completed 25 years in the year when the nation is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. In this Amrit Kal, we rededicate ourselves to continue on the path of innovation and make our markets even more vibrant, safe and secure for all stakeholders. For us, the journey has just begun.
Thank you for the trust and support that you've given us for our journey so far, and we hope that that continues in our journey ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd now like to invite our chief guest, the Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, to the dais amidst a huge round of applause. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. Please take your seat. I'd now like to invite our guest of honor, SEBI Chairperson Srimati Madhavi Puri Butch, to the dais. Please put your hands together. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our guest of honor, the Chief Postmaster General, Maharashtra Circle, Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas, to the dais. And now, last but not the least, of course, I'd like to invite our host of the event, our Managing Director and CEO of NSDL, Srimati Padmaja Chunduru, to the dais. A very warm welcome to you as well, ma'am. I'd now like to request Ms. Richi Savla from NSDL team to present the bouquet to our chief guest, Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. Ms. Kusum will present the bouquet to SEBI Chairperson Srimati Madhavi Puri Butch. Ms. Candelina Rodriguez will present the bouquet to our guest of honor, Chief Postmaster General, Maharashtra Circle, Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas. Thank you so much, and once again, a very warm welcome to all our dignitaries on the dais. I'd now invite our Managing Director and CEO of NSDL, Srimati Padmaja Chunduru, to address the distinguished gathering. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
I'm really overwhelmed today with all the affection and support that we are getting for this program. Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Chairperson, Securities and Exchange Board of India, Srimati Madhavi Puri Butch, Chief Postmaster General Maharashtra, Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas, and all our distinguished guests. Good afternoon and hearty welcome to the Silver Jubilee celebrations of NSDL. Today is a very important and almost a red letter day in the history of NSDL. The depository has crossed the 25th milestone in its saga, living up to the expectations of its stakeholders. We are very honored to celebrate in the warm glow of the affection and the support that we are getting from all our stakeholders. The tagline of NSDL, which is technology, trust, and reach, is what forms the backdrop and the theme for this 25-year journey. We are at an important milestone in our life as an institution where we reflect on where we are and where we aspire to be. In the first 25 years of its journey, NSDL has made rapid strides, not only as the pioneer of DMAT in India, but setting up the guardrails too, so as to ensure that the expansion of the market is enabled and underpinned by the robust technology and risk management systems. As we have just seen, there are many milestones in the 25-year journey of NSDL. As the first depository in the emerging Indian economy, introducing the concept of dematerialization of securities in the Indian financial markets. I think I need some water. Sorry about that. NSDL quickly forged ahead and won over many skeptics with its robust technology and the high standards of service to investors. NSDL opened, oh man. I'll go there. Oh, man. Thank you. So coming back to our narrative, NSDL quickly forged ahead and won over many skeptics with its robust technology and flawless service to investors. NSDL opened the first demat account in India on 8th November 1996, unveiling a new era of digital custody of the financial instruments, and is now the hallmark of security, safety, and trust. Along the journey, NSDL also incubated and grew the PAN database system for the Income Tax Department of the Government of India. This now is a separate entity, fast growing as Protean Technologies. NSDL is also proud of its subsidiary companies, NSDL Payments Bank and also NSDL Database Management Systems, which both in their own spheres are working towards digital enablement of services, towards financial inclusion and reaching the government initiatives to the wider user base. These are valuable participants in the NSDL ecosystem and are charting their own growth stories as we speak. NSDL has a pan-India presence through 57,000 service centers across more than 99% PIN codes in the country. The demat account numbers at 27 million, and already we saw the value of securities, which is more than $4 trillion. I think we'll also reach the $5 trillion mark very soon. This was actually, to put it in perspective, this was $1 billion in 1997. We must take this opportunity to thank all our depository participants, our brokers, the RTAs, and all the business partners and investors for the support to NSDL. More than 10,000 FPIs are registered in the NSDL system. NSDL has been a trusted partner, enabling the flow of foreign investment into India, providing a robust platform for registration as well as monitoring the limit utilization. We thank our member custodians for their guidance and their support. NSDL has made its footprint in the GIFT IFSC as well through a consortium by providing software to support the NSE IFSC receipts. With a pivotal position in assets under custody, corporate debt, and the FPI space, NSDL has proved that it has earned and retained the trust of all the diversified players. As a fitting tribute to the service, India Post is releasing a commemorative stamp and envelope today at the hands of the Honorable FM. I must take this opportunity to thank India Post for the speedy delivery of the stamp and envelope within 8 days, as Madam Meena was pointing out. Coming to the technology part of it, one of the biggest achievements of NSDL, I think, is to fulfill the SEBI mandate to introduce the rolling settlement in India. The settlement cycle, as we are all aware, has reduced from T plus 5 days to T plus 2 days, and now to T plus 1. I only wish it remains there and it doesn't become too onerous for us. I think maintaining this would be a challenge in itself. NSDL has rolled out the distributed ledger technology platform based on blockchain technology, which will be unveiled today by the SEBI chairperson. The passion to add new services resulted in many products and services being introduced in the last 1 year alone, including the API-based instant demat account opening, digital loan against securities, and many other such initiatives. As an enabler for companies during the COVID times, NSDL's e-AGM service and e-voting mechanism enabled Indian corporates to conduct their annual general meetings through video conferencing. This was extensively used by the who's who of corporate India. NSDL's digital onboarding platform for unlisted companies allowed companies to easily onboard on the depository. I think this is quite a popular service. NSDL's online commercial paper system enabled companies to issue commercial paper using end-to-end digital workflows. Now I should also commit and confirm that NSDL has modernized its IT infrastructure and hyper-converged systems that gives it flexibility to augment computing with horizontal scalability. NSDL is certified with ISO 27001 for information security and ISO 22301 for business continuity, which are of the highest industry standards. NSDL built its own captive security operations center with real-time monitoring capability. This is an area which is receiving continuous attention both in SEBI and in NSDL, given the geopolitical and other risks that we are facing today. We thank SEBI, the Technology Advisory Committee of SEBI, NCIIPC, and our own Standing Committee on Technology for the guidance we continuously receive on the technology and the security front. Excuse me. Client Connect has always been the hallmark of NSDL. NSDL mostly provides the services through its participants or the business partners. However, it has been able to connect with the investor too, to provide direct services through facilities like the Consolidated Account Statements, PD, which we have all seen on the audio-visual. The cash statement in the hands of investors is a powerful tool that can be leveraged further to bring in asset classes that are not yet included in the statement. We shall be working with SEBI, with PFRDA, with IRDAI, IFSCA, and RBI to ensure that this dream becomes a reality. With huge numbers of investors, especially the millennials entering the capital markets for the first time, the government and the regulators focus justifiably, while having the focus on expanding the investor base, I think it was also on ensuring against the mis-selling and also speculative tendencies that can erupt any time. A financially literate and aware investor base is imperative now. NSDL works with SEBI, NISM, educational institutions across the country to actually run investor awareness programs, both in the physical mode as well as on online basis. Today, we have a special initiative that we are unveiling, which is the Market Ka Eklavya, which we have seen. This is a program, presently it is targeted towards college undergrads who will very soon enter the the employment market. And that is where we think we should train them to be prudent investors and also de-jargonize the entire capital markets terminology, make it into regional languages, and provide online training, which is in a bit-sized modules. So as and when we roll it out, I expect that more and more educational institutions will be onboarded on this. And just now, the finance minister was also suggesting that we should actually take it across the country beyond the educational institutions also. I think that's a very scalable model we have. We have our educational startup partner, Purnata, who is a part of this entire journey. And I think we will work together to make that aspiration a reality. So this is an occasion to place on record the contribution made by Team NSDL, both serving and those who have served in the past years, whose involvement and commitment made the depository what it is today, an institution of eminence poised for greater heights. With all humility, I would like to mention that DMAT is a classic example of a need becoming a necessity. As we get ready for the future, the necessity of DMAT has to be further enriched and embraced with easy access and reach to the investor community. In one way, it is possible through the unique concept of single operating DMAT account, presently being spearheaded by the government. SEBI has already brought in the concept of the account aggregator, which empowers the investors. We owe our sustained growth and success to the wisdom and guidance of our board and the experts on our committees and advisory bodies. Thank you for the support. Ladies and gentlemen, our goal is to further broaden and strengthen our role as a market infrastructure institution. We recognize our responsibility to encourage the growth of the market through ease of doing business, ease and efficiency in operations, coupled with robust controls driven by technology, so that we catch the early signals, also administer the early preventive measures and ensure a calibrated and sustained expansion on a diversified base. As the saying goes, I mean, the adage is that bank the unbanked. I have many banker friends here, and we have all worked towards that, that mission. Now I think it is demat the undematted. I think that we will be focusing on, and we will drive this through our own pillars of values, efficiency, and security. The presence of the Honorable Finance Minister, the SEBI Chairperson, and all of you here gives us enormous energy and inspiration as we embark on the next 25 years of making ourselves and the economy Atmanirbhar. NSDL always stood up to the emerging challenges and opportunities all these years with the rapid expansion of capital markets. And this is the time to rededicate ourselves with renewed and reinforced spirit and commitment to deliver and exceed your expectations. The best of NSDL is yet to come, and this is our commitment. I would look forward to having a similar celebration every year and make this progress a much more sustained and very, something that we all take pride in and celebrate further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard what glorious 25 years of NSDL it's been. Now, to mark the Silver Jubilee of NSDL, a customized corporate My Stamp and special cover are being released by the Department of Post, Ministry of Communications, Government of India. We now invite our guest of honor, Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas, Chief Postmaster General, Maharashtra Circle, to address the distinguished gathering. Amidst a huge round of applause, let's welcome her on the podium.
Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Minister of Finance, Srimati Madhavi Puribuch, Chairperson SEBI, Mrs. Padmaja Chundru, MD and CEO NSDL, my dear friends and colleagues, a very good afternoon to one and all. Postage stamps are first and foremost the ambassador of a nation's history, culture, and heritage. They reflect the nation's achievements, socio-political environment, and people's aspirations. India is a country of rich socio-cultural diversity with people from various religions, ethnic and linguistic background living in peace and harmony. The postage stamp issued by the Department of Post showcases this very diversity through colorful depictions and innovative graphics. The stamps capture the essence and spirit of our great country and convey it throughout the world. Department of Post releases the postage stamp to commemorate an event, a monument, personality, or institution of eminence. If a stamp is released on an institution, then it is an official recognition by the Department of Post for the contribution made by the said institution towards the nation's progress and development. Department of Post, since independence, has been releasing a number of stamps to recognize the important role played by the various government and non-government organizations in the field of social service, science, technology, commerce, industry, and finance. Today, we are indeed very proud to release a customized corporate My Stamp on the National Security Depository Limited. Their eminent role in providing digital services to the security market and thus facilitating the growth of India's capital and securities market is outstanding. NSDL is the first depository in India and one of the leading central securities depositories in the world. It has transformed the India securities market through its 25 years of service. NSDL is credited for bringing innovative products and services which have made our markets efficient and competitive. It has rightly been identified as market infrastructure utility. We are happy to be a part of NSDL's Silver Jubilee celebrations. The customized corporate My Stamp and special cover being released on this occasion will surely go a long way in archiving this occasion for the present and the future generation. I believe this will help in spreading awareness about the role that NSDL has played and incentivized more people to benefit from participating in formal capital market mechanism. Let me add here that once this has been released, it becomes a collectible and it is showcased around the world, both physically and in the virtual world. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We now request Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas to hand over the customized corporate My Stamp and special cover to our Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, to unveil it and also display it to the audience. There we have the customized corporate My Stamp and the special cover. I request all our dignitaries on dais to kindly display the album to the audience. Thank you so much. Ma'am, I request you to just place the albums in the tray. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to the next event. Ladies and gentlemen, NSDL has always been a front runner in bringing new solutions to the securities market. With the intent of strengthening the regulatory framework for corporate bonds, NSDL, under guidance of SEBI, has developed and implemented a DLT blockchain-based platform for security and covenant monitoring system. We now play an audiovisual on NSDL's blockchain platform for security and covenant monitoring. Please have a look at the audiovisual.
Technology has radically transformed our societies and daily lives, from smartphones to social media, from healthcare to finance. It has transformed the way we live, the way we think, and the way we invest. Using innovative and flexible technology, NSDL works to support the investors, issuers, and business partners. NSDL, with the guidance from SEBI, has developed and implemented a state-of-the-art security and covenant monitoring platform for debentures. This platform has been built on distributed ledger technology, also commonly known as blockchain. NSDL has created an ecosystem for issuance of debentures, where once transaction is committed cannot be changed due to the use of immutable distributed ledger technology to facilitate monitoring of security and governance during the life of corporate bonds, which brings discipline and transparency in the market. Cryptographically secures the non-disputable records on the DLT blockchain platform. Data auditability and tamper-proof ledger strengthens the investor's confidence in the market. With this platform, NSDL has established the foundational blocks and robust framework for blockchain technology. In pursuit of excellence, by embracing innovation and transform the marketplace experience with enhanced digitization, NSDL has been actively participating in multiple innovation initiatives led by SEBI, namely DLT, Innovation Sandbox, Ideathon, Hackathon, and many more, bringing about transformation for a secure, transparent, and innovation-driven marketplace. NSDL. Technology, trust, and reach.
Our SEBI chairperson, Srimati Madhabi Butch, to unveil NSDL blockchain platform for security and covenant monitoring. I would now request our SEBI chairperson, Srimati Madhavi Puri-Butch, to please join me on the podium and address the distinguished guests. Can we have a big round of applause for her? Thank you.
Honorable Minister and my dear friends, it is indeed a pleasure to be here. It is indeed a landmark that we're celebrating 25 years of NSDL, and anybody who has tracked the history of the stock exchange and of the securities market in India knows that the entire DMAT revolution was the very first step by which the entire market adopted technology. I think that going forward, today will also be remembered as an important day because we are taking the first step in terms of the use of distributed ledger technology in the markets. I would like to take you through a few slides. Can somebody load that? This one? All right. I would like to start with the words of Yuval Harari. On the one hand, it's about money. It's about the concept of history, about the concept of trust. On the other hand, if we read it carefully, what does it say about all of us today and about the future of humanity? The most fundamental line here that I read is that people are willing to do things when they trust the figment of their collective imagination. So trust comes not from some intrinsic value. It comes not from something which is embedded in a gold coin or in a dollar bill, but from the fact that collectively we believe it to be valuable. The question is that in today's environment, particularly with young people across the globe, where is that trust? And what we are seeing is that even in respect of markets, in respect of securities, in respect of investments, in terms of payments, people are increasingly placing their trust in distributed ledger technology. I would like to spend a few minutes to share with you my understanding of why is the world moving in this direction with such speed. Why does the world trust DLT so much? To my mind, it is because DLT manifests itself in some very important ways. To my mind, DLT is like an energy source. It is like Shiva. But when it manifests into Shakti, it can take so many forms which we see today around us in the universe. What are these characteristics that attract people to this energy? The first most important thing is transparency. Young people love this technology because they say, we can see it. We don't need to trust in a black box where some institution or some entity tells us, trust us. No, we can actually see it for ourselves. So transparency is an important aspect of DLT that drives trust. The second aspect is that it is real time. Anything that you do today, at this moment, manifests immediately. Again, there is no need to trust that if I do something today, it will be manifested tomorrow. No, it will be manifested real time, immediately. So this is the second driver of trust. The third, and which I consider the most important from the perspective of our country, is that it permits infinite divisibility. So whether it is a digital asset or a currency or any other form or manifestation that this technology assumes, it is possible to make it into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces until they are affordable and accessible to even the smallest saving and the furthest citizen of our country. To my mind, this is a huge potential driver of financial inclusion because we can now imagine that there are digital assets and digital currencies based on DLT, which can reach the furthest corners of our country in an extremely inclusive way, in a very transparent and instantaneous way. The last dimension, which I must admit I'm a little bit of a skeptic, they say that DLT is cost effective. The current manifestations are not strictly so, but they have the potential to be so. And therefore, already in a country where we see that given this amazing system that the Reserve Bank of India has built by way of the UPI system, we already see that we have instantaneous payments across the country in a very, very cost-effective way. But potentially, DLT has the potential to take that concept much further and into every single aspect of the way in which people spend, the way in which people earn, the way in which people invest, the way in which people save. And if there is a cost effectiveness that arrives because India has such tremendous scale, that it would be one more attractive feature of the entire DLT technology. There is one aspect of DLT that a lot of people like. I must admit that all of us sitting here would be quite unhappy with that aspect, which is that of anonymity. And to my mind, this is perhaps the single biggest differentiator between private DLT manifestations and what we commonly now refer to as central bank digital currencies, where it is not envisaged that this aspect or this aspect of this technology would not be put to use because we do not wish to have anonymity, but every other benefit of this technology can indeed be deployed. In the securities market, we believe that going forward, this technology, which as I said is pure energy, it is the Shiva, it is up to us how we manifest it in terms of Shakti, inherently is aligned with the way in which our markets think and the way in which SEBI thinks, because we are a disclosure-based and a disclosure-driven market. Whether it is in terms of our primary markets and our IPO mechanisms, whether it is our debt market, whether it is our secondary market and with all the ongoing disclosures, whether it is our mutual funds, everything is driven by disclosure. We are a disclosure-based regime. And therefore, the fit with DLT is natural. And therefore, I see today's launch as really the first step which will mark the beginning. And I would expect to see many, many more manifestations of DLT in times to come. Particularly, and focusing today on what is being launched today, it is SEBI's stated objective that while our equity markets are relatively mature and relatively stable, there's a lot of work to be done in terms of the bond market. And in this context, a lot of the initiatives which we have taken in the past, whether it is in terms of creating transparency in credit ratings of the bonds, both in terms of the disclosures on what is the rationale for a rating of a particular bond, or whether it is in terms of the performance of the rating agency itself, what is the stability of their ratings. All of this disclosure is something that we have been striving towards using more traditional technology. We certainly hope to now take this forward using more modern technology. Another area where we have created a lot of value, and it's an important foundational building block for the bond market, is the centralized database which has been implemented by both the depositories in order to create a unified view of the bond market in terms of transparency of every single instrument that is listed and in terms of all the features so that anybody who has any interest in that bond has a central place that they can go to and get all the information that they need about this particular instrument. The latest, which we are launching today, in terms of the covenant monitoring system, I think is an extremely important step for the simple reason that it will be a step towards converting the trust which investors have today inherently in the system into a more manifest form where they can see for themselves What exactly are the securities that have been placed as collateral for the bonds in terms of security? What are the pledges? What is the security cover? What does the auditor have to say about it? What does the issuer have to say about it? What does the debenture trustee have to say about it? What does the depository have to say about it? And all these different players are going to be disclosing in an extremely transparent manner using the two power nodes of the two depositories in this covenant monitoring system for bonds. Going forward, we would hope and expect that we would open up these power nodes to many other participants who would be part of the ecosystem, people who are regulated entities, to participate in this and scale up the distributed nature of this technology. But before we start taking ourselves too seriously, I would like to end on a lighter note. This is a cartoon that was shared in my book club. And I thought how apt it is that perhaps a few generations from now, people would be looking at a book and wondering what on earth it is and where it has come from. And at that stage, we may be thinking that today's traditional technologies that we have deployed may look as antiquated as that, because perhaps we would have engaged the entire power of the distributed ledger technology with all the transparency that it brings to our markets. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for those insightful words. Ladies and gentlemen, at NSDL, we believe in connecting with the investor community at large and help them understand the nuances and become prudent investors. NSDL organizes investor awareness programs all over the country and also online to spread financial awareness amongst investors, as spoken by our MD CEO earlier. NSDL has now devised a new initiative, Market Ka Eklavya, to impart training on financial markets for students in an online mode and in various regional languages. To join us here, we have students from colleges in Shillong, Assam, Anand, Udhampur, Lucknow, who have joined and are watching the event online. Can we display the students as well? Yes, all of them are watching you online right now. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, students from across the cities. We would now play. Also, ladies and gentlemen, at this event venue itself, we also have students from HR College of Commerce and Economics, Mumbai, and Government PG College, Kavardha from Chhattisgarh. The students are sitting in the hall. Very warm welcome to students here. Thank you so much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we now play an audiovisual on Market Ka Eklavya to give us a glimpse on what this initiative is. Can we have the audiovisual, please?
India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Businesses across sectors such as pharma, automotive, banking, infrastructure, etc. are growing and propelling the economy forward. GST collections has crossed the 1.5 lakh crore mark for the first time. In 2021, we had 1,035 IPOs, an all-time record, beating the 480 in 2020. Demat count in the country has increased from 3.1% to 7%.
Any shock that may come is now taken care of because of the shock absorbing capacity the Indian retailer has brought into Indian market. I think we as a house should stand up and appreciate the Indian retailer who's invested a lot of confidence in the stock markets today in India.
NSDL believes in connecting with the investor community at large and jointly organizes programs with SEBI, NISM, NSE, MSE to create awareness. Larger public participation in the capital market enables sustained economic growth. Out of 1.3 billion people in India, just about 7% invest in stocks. There is lack of trust and belief in the stock market. We teach our youth maths, science and history, but not investment. Financial prudence is a core life skill for participating in modern society. Today's youngsters are growing up in an increasingly complex world. they eventually need to take charge of their own future. On the occasion of the Silver Jubilee celebration, NSDL is proud to launch Market Ka Eklavya to enlighten the young future investors.
Eklavya is the character in the epic Mahabharata, and he is known for the art of archery by the way of self-disciplined study.
This course is designed to burst myths, teach basics of investing in regional language with its knowledge partner Purnatha. Purnatha is an education company offering simple, immersive and practical courses on entrepreneurship, financial literacy with Michigan Academy for Developing Entrepreneurs. Market Ka Eklavya is an online program delivered in different regional languages. This course will also reach Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities and equip students with money management skills and basic understanding of capital market. Market Ka Eklavya is a 5-hour module course. Module 1 covers the 3 I's: income, inflation and investment. Module 2 is designed with the 3 S's of investment: start early, spread wide and stay long. Module 3 highlights about the primary and secondary market. Module 4 demystifies investment jargons for ease of understanding. And the 5th module focuses on the what and how of mutual fund and the do's and don'ts of investments. An internationally recognized certificate will be jointly issued by NSDL, Purnatha and MAID, USA on successful completion of the course. A pilot session was run and here's what students have to say about Market Ka Eklavya.
मार्केट का एकलव्य सेशन मिक्की बड़ा शायर लग गया। मिक्की पता चला मैं कितनी इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी तो कितनी इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं करनी। मैं फर्स्ट टाइम जो इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी तो वो म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी।
मार्केट का एकलव्य इस प्रोग्राम ने मुझे फाइनेंशियल इन्वेस्टमेंट्स को एक नई दृष्टिकोण से देखने की प्रेरणा दी है।
বিনিয়োগ সম্পর্কে আমাদের জ্ঞান দেওয়ার জন্য আমি NSDL এবং পূর্ণথাকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ জানাই।
एकलव्य सेशन बहुत अच्छा सेशन था। उसमें मैंने कंपाउंडिंग का कॉन्सेप्ट सीखा वीडियो निशा की ग्राफिक के साथ, जो बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग था। उसके साथ मैंने म्यूचुअल फंड का कॉन्सेप्ट सीखा डायरेक्ट प्लानर से, जो पॉकेट फ्रेंडली है मेरे स्टूडेंट्स।
NSDL takes pride in presenting Market Ka Eklavya as the stepping stone in the journey towards financial freedom, creating financially prudent you. NSDL, technology, trust and reach.
Thank you so much. Yes, making the use of technology, building that trust with our users and reaching the wider audience through these educational institutions, Market Ka Eklavya is being presented. I'd now request our Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, to officially unveil this initiative, Market Ka Eklavya. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, now for the most awaited session of the event, we request our chief guest, Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, to address the gathering. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, namaskar. I'm extremely pleased to be here today, and I thank the board of NSDL, particularly Madam Chunduru Padmaja, who I've known since the time she was with the Indian Bank, where of course she had also undertaken quite some such similar proactive measures to make the bank far more transparent, far more efficient and lean. So she continues that tradition. So first let me start by mentioning a word of appreciation for the spirit with which she's running the NSDL as well. I'm also happy to be seated along with the regulator, the market regulator, Madhavi ji, and the Chief Postmaster General Maharashtra for having graced the occasion and also within a very short period of time getting a commemorative stamp for the institution. So I appreciate that, ma'am. As was recalled, 25 full years, great work, first national level electronic at that time, as it was called, a depository. But I would think, whilst the 25 years are important, the last 2 years, I think, brought in such a dynamism into your institution. If I look at the data, if I look at what has been happening in the last exactly 2 years, the 25 years of being there for the long haul and also acquiring steadily the global best practices and also looking at how you can be ahead of the curve has helped NSDL, I think, to be able to face the 2 years of vibrancy which India has seen. And the vibrancy is what I had mentioned in the parliament, and I didn't expect to be that shot to be captured here before me. But that was spur of the moment when I had to respond to an honorable member who stood up and said, hey, look, FPIs are going away. What are you going to be doing? Are you aware? Is the government aware? So I had to say the government can be aware, but the fact is that today the Indian retail investors have shown the world what it can do. And that one reason I thought, and this is a very novice speaking about the markets, that one reason of the Indian retail investor standing up and getting counted in a very big way has played as a shock absorber when FPIs, whose tendency it is to come and go, to flow where the strength lies or to the attraction lies. So the Indian retail investor has played it in such a way that in the last 2 years, I'm sure the NSDL, the 4 trillion that you're talking about, is essentially because of that buoyancy which the Indian retail investor has shown. The numbers were well worth repeating, and I would certainly like to put that forward before you. Probably you are very well aware of it, but I'm surprised that in 2019-20, number which was probably only 7 lakhs per month. I'm being deliberately slow. I'm trying to recall the exact number. 7 lakh new demat accounts per month in 2019-20, which in 2021 became 14 lakh per month, which actually, I think there will be some change in the number mildly, but which in 21-22 has touched 26 lakh per month. 26 lakh new demat accounts per month in 21-22. And if that is the kind of growth we are seeing in the new demat accounts, I'm not giving you cumulative figures, new demat accounts, you can see that there is an appetite for taking risk, but people would like to definitely be more informed about what actually happens, can they be better performing, what are the kind of risks they have to face. There is a lot of word of mouth happening. Today, if I ask a youngster, and that is the topic which I was talking to Padmaja, if you ask a youngster, there are groups of friends who tell them to, hey, do this instead of saving it in a small bank account, look at going into the stock market and so on. But I'm glad through this Eklavya, you'll be able to reach out to a lot of people who actually need that kind of information, financial literacy, even better than just financial literacy, understanding the market, understanding how things work there. I think is just the right time to launch it. I wouldn't say the need of the hour, because people are already showing that kind of a tendency to come in, and you're just rightly placing yourself at that time. And that one little extra expectation that I mentioned to Padmaja was, it's right, and it is right approach to go and approach colleges and ask students to learn. And I was quite happy to see students from all over the country being represented, some physically here, and ask them to take a 5-hour course, which is what you've got online. And I was very impressed about the name Eklavya, because even then it was a sort of distant learning, because his guru didn't keep him next to Arjuna and teach him. He was learning it from somewhere, but he was so sharp he could get it. That was also, in a way, distant online learning. And so the name is very appropriate. So everybody teaches himself or herself through the guru, and here the guru is, of course, NSDL, and the passage is very clearly electronic, and therefore that's a very nice, whoever thought of it has thought of a very appropriate name. So we'll have million Ekalavyas who will understand how to handle themselves when they're talking about the stock market or the bond market, or what are the kind of risks, what are the mutual funds up to, and everything else like that. So that is the way in which I think India can show the world that its young and aspiring population can also be, very informed about fintech. The technical side of fintech, you already find there is a leadership role that India has. The startups in fintech today are doing extraordinary work. And that is why I must recall that very recently, just about a week ago, when I was for the Fund Bank meeting in Washington, the interest that many countries wanted or showed to me was to understand how fintech has reached the levels that it has reached in India. The India Stack, the UPI, the NCPI have all been magical for them to hear and understand. So this Ekalavya will also create a bulk of Indian citizens who will be very clear on what happens and how to handle the markets. And this is a very necessary education, and since it's so digitized and you're doing it in all the Indian languages, I'll be very happy, and I am sure the Indian citizen will immensely benefit from it. But similarly, I'm sure if this is made into many other world's languages, this can be one of the products that India can actually offer, because many of the countries still have a clique of people who have the knowledge and the wherewithal to handle markets. And although the investor interests are very high, the retail investor interest is very high in very many countries, I'm sure the learning is a lot more person to person or by reading books and so on. So this would probably be one of the ways in which India can be, again, a Vishwaguru, as our Honorable Prime Minister wishes, that we are a Vishwaguru, we should become Vishwaguru. In imparting very many things on this, you will be setting a standard so that you can give information to those investors all around the world who are also now young population spread so thinly, except in countries like China and India, where we are densely young, whereas elsewhere the population is very thin. So that is one thing which I certainly did want to mention during today's this gathering. And NSDL definitely is leading the way, and I'm glad that you have a good quantum of all those deposits which are demat accounts with you. At this stage, I think the way in which NSDL has taken things forward is very impressive, and I'm sure it will continue for the next decade. But I didn't think here, and I don't have an objection, but I didn't think here that I was going to see a presentation or even hear talk about the distributed ledger technology. But I'm glad you gave the presentation, and I'm glad that the government's standpoint that this technology is absolutely imperative, and the government's position is that we support the technology. And because it can have so many different uses, not just in educating oneself on these technologies, but also seeing how it can bring in a greater level of participation, the fact that it is so distributed, also, of course, rightly warned, anonymous. But the fact is today that is becoming handy in settling many of the things which are otherwise time-consuming, otherwise manual, otherwise laborious. So NSDL's three-worded objective, you call it, motto, you call it, or hashtag, you call it, is technology, transparency, and reach. Using your digitized distributed ledger technology, your transparency element, like the presentation made by SEBI chairperson, the technology element is anyway there. It certainly brings in the transparency, but SEBI's line of argument on that was disclosure. So when you're actually building a system of disclosure-based regime, technology is a powerful tool for the disclosure, and therefore I would think NSDL's objective, the second objective, also gets well served through the distributed ledger technology. There's no doubt about it. And outreach, undoubtedly, because technology today is affordable, technology today is available for access through very many different levels of instrument. You don't need a high-strung computer or a tabletop or even a smartphone. Today, it's available. And that is why using the distributed ledger technology, the Bitcoin, the crypto assets are fairly widespread in India. So it is a fantastic, beautiful coincidence that you have a regulator who speaks up for the digital distributed ledger technology, almost like an advocate, promotes it, and the benefits of it are already, in a way, in the three-worded motto of NSDL. And in a way, the artificial intelligence and the technology is what is being aspired for and assuring the fiduciary responsibility of trust. Unless you had the trust, NSDL wouldn't have completed its 25 years. And unless we have the trust, we can't, whether it is technology or laborious manual ways, unless the trust exists, markets cannot perform. And every now and then, that's also seemed to be going by a cycle, once in 10 years, where there is a mischief happening, misuse happening. You find that there is such a global impact. It just doesn't stop at affecting the markets, but it literally rattles economies. So it is that trust, you may call it in very many different ways and words, insider dealing, you know, anything else that you want to use, but that rattles the entire global economy. And the ripples take a long time to settle. And that is why by the time the next time comes, you've learned lessons earlier, you're able to handle it better now, but that will be challenged with technology. And that is where the last point that SEBI chairperson rightly referred to, the anonymity is what is that one unknown element in this whole thing. The anonymity of the person or whoever or a robot is the one which we have to be absolutely readying ourselves as any future challenge. Unless we ready this beautiful dependence and ease that technology gives us, that the distributed ledger technology can give us, it brings in a great sense of democratization of the power itself. But unless we are able to guard ourselves against that anonymous element, which can itself pose an inherent risk we probably will be exposing ourselves much more than ever we would have imagined. And therefore, even as I encourage, even as I support, even as I see the ease of doing business, the transparency, the automatic by default setting, transparency which comes into this whole mechanism, the element that which is the imponderable but yet a very powerful imponderable is that it is anonymous to a large extent. And that is where, when we are talking about financial inclusion, very many countries, again drawing from what I've heard in the recent visit, many countries have very favorably taken to the distributed ledger technology or the Bitcoin from the point of view of wanting to achieve financial inclusion. Very many countries have not managed, for instance, if I can speak for the government, the Jan Dhan, which was prior to bringing in the distributed ledger technology in many other countries, is now seen as an instrument through which they can achieve financial inclusion. But here are we in India, where financial inclusion happened, and now we see that this technology can help us in bulk financial transactions, make it efficient, make it transparent, cross-border efficiencies in payments. And therefore, the distributed ledger technology for us in India goes through the central bank's digital currency. Whereas many other countries, as I said, are using it also in the name of financial inclusion, which India, thankfully, for the foresightful step that the Honorable Prime Minister took even in 2014, we are able to definitely reasonably claim that more than 90% of Indian citizens have been, adult citizens have been covered, and saturation has nearly been achieved. And that was obvious during the pandemic. And therefore, we are at a time when Web3 is coming in. It is going to influence our daily lives. 5G, the minister has already said, is coming in probably from August this year. We are in technology not behind at all in every aspect of it. FinTech has already shown that kind of a robustness. Our young are showing their capacities. They are moving forward. They are achieving a lot more than what is imagined in the rest of the world. It is still in the imagination, whereas our young FinTech experts, startups have shown their capacity. So Web3 is not a distant dream. We are all in it already, unknowingly perhaps. So at this time, with these technologies, I would expect that we should actually be setting the benchmark, and SEBI is here for that purpose. I would think by being a lot more open-minded, progressive, forward-thinking regulator for an era which is Web3 era, with the inherent strength of FinTech in our hands, having proven ourselves through the UPA and also the NCPI and many other ways in which we have shown greater alacrity in digitizing ourselves, we should be moving in the next, let us say, at least 30 years, much ahead of the rest of the world in terms of our markets becoming a lot more. Therefore, this T1 business, for me, is the right thing. It's all right. You have given yourself enough time. I've been assured that it is coming in progressively. That's the first benefit we should give the investor. That kind of a settlement time is just the magic word you need for greater attraction for small investors. And I'm glad you already moved into T1. I'm not pressurizing you to do it any further, but that's the right thing. That's the right thing. So lots of things are happening. I'm very glad to be here marking the 25th anniversary of NSDL. Yes, it is the year which is marking 75 years of India's independence. The next 25 years, as the Prime Minister has given us direction, made the budget, which was announced on 1st February 2022, also bring in elements which are so futuristic. In all probability, the budget announcement of 75 digital banking units are going to be established by August, if everything goes well. Digital universities being set up. The International Financial Services Center in the GIFT City is also having several other newer features. You are also playing a role in it. So India is moving rapidly because of the ease with which we have adapted technology. And in this sector too, you brought it in, and therefore I think we are just running in all our maximum capacity towards India at 100. I immensely thank each one of you all for having participated in today's program, because I understand you have a stake in this. As a stakeholder, you are seeing what is happening before you. These are small steps, but of immense importance. This is going to revolutionize. It is certainly going to revolutionize our markets and the way in which our retail investors are going to really make the whole situation nice and buoyant. So thank you for your participation. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those kind and very encouraging words. Shows us we are moving towards the right path. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the concluding part of the evening, we would like to express our sincere gratitude and thank you for your time and unveiling multiple initiatives of NSDL. Thank you so much, ma'am. We request our Managing Director and CEO of NSDL, Srimati Padmaja Chunduru, to present the memento to our chief guest, Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. I would like all of you to join us in expressing our gratitude with a huge round of applause. Thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing the occasion. I'd now request, ma'am, for you to give our memento to our guest of honor, SEBI Chairperson, Srimati Madhavi Puri Butch. I'd now like you to present the memento to our guest of honor, Chief Postmaster General, Maharashtra Circle, Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas. Take your seats. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I'd now like to invite our Executive Director of NSDL, Shri Samar Banwant, to propose the vote of thanks. A very warm welcome to you.
It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this special occasion to celebrate NSDL's glorious 25 years. As we have seen in the last 1.5 hours, NSDL has accomplished a lot in its journey of 25 years and is to fulfill many, many more expectations in the future. In fact, all of us who are here today would have experienced NSDL in one way or the other in the last 25 years. NSDL has done a lot, but there is one thing which NSDL cannot do. That is, speak for itself. Of course, it has spoken through its actions and accomplishments. So today, I am the voice for NSDL. And through this voice, I would like to thank all of those who made NSDL possible. There are numerous people who have contributed to NSDL. Let me begin by thanking my parents, that is, the founders of NSDL, who were then Unit Trust of India, now SUTI, the Industrial Development Bank of India, now IDBI Bank, and the National Stock Exchange. Let me thank the other shareholders of NSDL, that is the public sector banks, the private sector banks, and the foreign banks. I would like to thank the government, SEBI, and all the people who made the enabling legal and regulatory framework which accelerated the success of NSDL and made DMAT possible. My deep regard and hearty thanks to the Honorable Finance Minister for gracing the occasion and sharing with us her thoughts and unveiling initiatives of NSDL of national importance. We are greatly encouraged by her gracious presence and immensely benefited by her inspiring address. We assure you, FM Madam, to continue to work in the direction of creating world-class settlement infrastructure, bringing in innovative products for our investors, support the market participants, be vigilant in all facets, and make India proud. Let me thank the Honorable SEBI Chairperson, Srimati Madhavi Puri. Her short and powerful presentation demonstrated to us how images can convey much more than words. The credit of conceptualizing the DLT blockchain for security and covenant monitoring system is straight to the SEBI chairperson. There is possibly no parallel for this anywhere in the world. That is especially a live system on DLT blockchain. Thank you, Chairperson SEBI, for trusting NSDL to execute this. I would like to place on record sincere thanks to whole-time members, SEBI, Executive Director SEBI, the department heads, the division heads, the entire staff at SEBI, who has always been guiding force for us and helping us achieve new milestones. My sincere thanks to Chief Postmaster General Maharashtra Circle, Srimati Veena Ramakrishna Srinivas, in unveiling the customized corporate miles stamp and especially making it happen in just 8 days. Thank you so much. And to give NSDL an official recognition for the contribution which has been made by NSDL. Let me also thank the governing board of NSDL, which has always been rock solid and comprising of eminent personalities. I would like to express gratitude to all our depository participants who are providing services to the investors across the length and breadth of the country and abroad. I would like to thank the issuers who have entrusted to NSDL to maintain its register of members. I would like to thank the RTAs, our vendors, our consultants who supported us during this remarkable journey. Without their support and trust, we would not have achieved our various milestones. I convey thanks to all distinguished guests who are present today in this hall and also virtually who are now watching us. Lastly, I would like to add that it is Team NSDL, our employees, who are our pillars, who are responsible for building and maintaining this electronic infrastructure of such a massive scale, which has $4 trillion value of assets. We are proud of our employees, the Team NSDL. I would finally like to thank the ex-MDs and ex-employees of NSDL, whose dedication and passion has brought us here. Now, before we close, what we all have witnessed today is that there are 4 powerful people on the dais, and all women. Thank you all. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
This event a memorable one by having Team NSDL join us on the dais for a group photograph, a picture for memory keepsake on this very special occasion. Can I request Team NSDL to very quickly come onto the stage? Thank you. We can all applaud for Team NSDL. They deserve this for the hard work put in for the last 25 years. Many congratulations to you. While the stage is being set for the photograph, let me quickly announce all of you who've gone to our photo opportunity, which was in the pre-function area. Your photographs are printed and ready for you to take home as a memory keepsake of the event. Also, all the milestones that you've seen in the audio visuals are also displayed outside if you'd like to take a moment and look at them. We also have a checkered backdrop for you to give your comments or feedback about the event, your thoughts on the video bite as well. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, as the entire team is up on stage, can we hear a big round of applause for our dignitaries and Team NSDL? Thank you so much, team. Please take your seats.